Mushawenyu wamachemera. Chipo iwe. Johnny we. Nice iwe. Mushawenyu wamachemera. Mushawenyu wamachemera. Mushawenyu wamachemera. Mushawenyu wamachemera. Chipo iwe. Johnny we. Makadini ruzhinji rweZimbabwe, welcome to Change Radio Zimbabwe news review every Sunday that we broadcast to you live from wherever you are. Ndichona njani vachave Zulu. Tinokuchingamidzai pachirongwa news review chatinokupai musi wesvondo wega. Zita ndinonzi DJ Prof. Nhasi uno ndiri kufamba namukoma Meshek Karasa. Mukoma Meshek Karasa, sanganai nevanhu.
Makadi vateereri, tendai nekuvapa chirongwa chedu chanhasi.
Right, tise zvatinogara tichiita masvondo rega kana kuti musi wesvondo wega tinenge tichikupai nhau dzinenge dzichiitika munyika yeZimbabwe nenhau dzinenge dzichiitika kunzvimbo dzakasiyana asi kunyanya dzinenge dzichiitika pamusoro penyika yeZimbabwe. Zvanga zvichiitika svondo rese kusvika nhasi unoyu tinokupai kune vamwe vanenge vakapotswa nazvo, and those people who had missed a lot of news around Zimbabwe, those people that have missed some breaking news that have been happening in Zimbabwe. That's our duty as Change Radio, to give you, those news in snippet and to give you those news in brief. That's our motto, and that's why we are here. Change Radio for the people and Change Radio to the people. So today, Mukoma Chirasa, like I said, I'll be with Mukoma Chirasa here, and you will be speaking more of the issues that have been happening in Zimbabwe. Is one of our Change Radio experts, and over to you, Mukoma Chirasa. Let's start with the first point before we move. Just let's start with the first point and let the viewers and listeners listen to us. Can you hear me, Mukoma Chirasa?
Hello, Muri Zimbabwe, Rimati Mana Ipasi Rose. Today we are talking about the issue for the president of Zimbabwe, Mnangagwa, who said he is not going to contest for third term, but in actual fact we know he is telling the truth, considering the previous incidents that had happened in the country. As he said, the president said he will not manipulate the constitution. But the big question is, do we have institutions in Zimbabwe that will defend the manipulation of the constitution by the current president? The answer is big no, considering in 2019 we have got issue of the Justice President was supposed to be retired, and the High Court said yes to retire, but the constitution was manipulated and he's still in office through the provision that was put by the regime. So in actual fact, the president is trying to hide the truth about by saying he's not going to manipulate the constitution. Because if he is sincerely, he should supposed to say, I'm going to contest in 2018, full stop. Like what the current president of Namibia, His Excellency Nangolo Mbumba, who said, he said, I'm not be around for the elections because he's not going to contest, full stop. Even if the constitution in Namibia allows him to contest, but he's not going to contest. So the president should come out straightforward and say, people of Zimbabwe, you have been given me enough time, 2 terms, and I've served in the government of Zimbabwe for more than 48 years. And in 2028, I'll go and rest, and the new leader will come. But he's hiding on the constitution. If you look at our parliament as we speak today, it's not an institution that everyone can respect. Even the people who are leading the parliament, they are not respecting the parliament, which is one of the arms of the government. Our parliament is run like a brothel where anyone can enter and do his or her own business. Look, we have got people in the parliament who are members of parliament through the back doors, people who do not have any political parties, who are imposters, but they are now members of parliament. They are benefiting from the taxes of people of Zimbabwe, but they come through so you don't expect to get institutions because our parliament is already manipulated. So you will find out there are people who are aligned to the current president's function. They will be going to initiate a motion saying our president is doing a good job. We would like to amend the third term. They will be going to say they are going to abolish 2-term clause because it's an African. So it will be a disaster for Zimbabwe, and I don't think the president will be going to step down in 2028. You will find any other ways of continuing to run as the president and until Madonga Meranyanga.
Right.
If you yes,
while you are still on that story, maybe I would just want to ask a question that what do you think will be the consequences if they are going to be, or what do you think are going to be the challenges if Mnangagwa does not cede power at the end of his term?
If Mr. Mnangagwa will not cede his term, one, the lives of Zimbabwe, economically, socially, will be in a disaster because the current regime, when it comes to managing of economy, they are failing to run economy professionally. If you see the social lives of our people, things are going bad each and every day. People are going hunger. There's no jobs. The government is failing to address social services like health. There's no medicine in hospitals and houses. So this disaster will keep on continuing, and the abuse of our laws, the freedom of speech, freedom of associations, and the abortion of social political organizations that are critics of the regime will continue like what is happening now. As you are aware that our party or the party season for coalition season, which was led by Advocate Nelson Chamisa, was infiltrated. It is another way of banning like Smith used to do during the Rhodesia era. But this is another way of banning the political parties by infiltrating and putting imposters. So it will be a disaster. Zimbabwe will become a disaster country like other countries which are struggling democratically. So if the issue of abolishing two terms was planned long back. If you still recall, in 2019, the ZANU-PF Secretary of Administration, Obed Mpofu, in Kadoma, he said, and he told Mr. Mnangagwa that, Mr. President, you can go beyond 2028 if you so wish, because the issue of law can be taken off in Parliament. And the president responded by saying, we can change the laws. There's nothing that we want that cannot be done because we command two-thirds majority. So as long as ZANU-PF has got two-thirds majority, anything can happen.
Right.
Yeah.
Thank you so much, Mr. Makasa. This is Mr. Makasa. We are discussing on
Karasa.
Marasa.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for correcting. It's Mr. Marasa, not Makasa.
Karasa.
That was Mr. Marasa. We are discussing on Change Radio today on News Review. We are tackling the issues that are rising in Zimbabwe. Now he was explaining about Mnangagwa's gimmick. We call it a political gimmick of trying to win people, saying that he is going to cede power or is not going to take power or is not going to contest rather in the upcoming election in 2028. But with the experience that we know that he is lying to the people of Zimbabwe. Mnangagwa actually is preparing to contest again. Already ZANU-PF people are running around singing, formulating slogans that 2020-30 Mnangagwa anenga chipo, and there's Vision 2030. All those things are happening, in the boardroom of ZANU-PF. So, Mr. Marasa, we have to move on now. Now we know that obviously we don't know if Mnangagwa wants to leave a legacy. That is, if he's leaving. Obviously, we have said that he doesn't want to leave power. But now we know that there is a new currency that they have, if I say, introduced or promulgated to people in Zimbabwe. They are forcing people to accept the currency that they've introduced, called ZIG. Can you just in brief tell us what do you think about this currency, a new Zimbabwean currency called ZIG?
ZIG. ZIG, it's Zimbabwe gold. That is the meaning of ZIG. It's a new currency introduced by the new governor of Zimbabwe, Mr. John Mushayanu, after the Zim dollar depreciated. ZIG, in actual fact, this is not the first time in this country to introduce a new currency. There were several currencies which was introduced before, but this time around, they introduced this currency and said it is backed by the Zimbabwean gold. And according to the Reserve Bank, they said we have got about 1.5 tons of gold currently, held at the Reserve Bank of Zimbabwe, and another 1 ton in the outside the country. But considering our situation on the ground, the issue that should be addressed in Zimbabwe is not about the currency. Chinhu chinofanira kutanga chagadziriswa muZimbabwe nyaya yekuti chakonzera kuti musoro uteme chii. Like chiri kuita kuti mari dzemuZimbabwe dzidonhe donhe chii. If in a country you have got an illegitimate regime or government, even your policies or your currency will become illegitimate. Because sekusatambirwa kwakaitwa hurumende neruzhinji ndokusatambirwa kuchaitwa dzinonzi imari dzenyika neruzhinji. So kuti ruzhinji rweZimbabwe harina confidence, nyaya inoita kuti currency ive stable, inyaya it's about confidence. So if you look at the confidence, people vasina confidence nenyaya dzemari muZimbabwe vakanyanyisisa vanhu vari muhurumende vanoshandira hurumende, vashandi vehurumende, vatungamiri vehurumende, the people who initiate those policies dzavanesa kupopo ndo the same people vasina confidence necurrency. Because if you look them, homwe dzavo ndo vanhu vanoshandisa ma-US, ndo vanogara nemari kudzimba millions and millions of US dollars. So as long as pasina confidence yemari yenyika, pasina confidence yehurumende iripo, because our government doesn't have consistent policies.
Yes.
As long as there's propaganda, if you go and watch the media, the state media, unoona pachitaurwa propaganda, dzinoratidza kuti nyika, unenge uchiona kuti nyika haina kwairi kuenda. As long vakuru vatungamiri vehurumende vachiti vakarwara vanoenda kunorapwa kunze kwenyika, vachisiya zvipatara zvavo zvisina mishonga, izvozvo zvinoratidza kuti havana confidence nezvavari kuita munyika mavo. Saka zvinoratidzawo kuti izvini currency pane pasina munhu achaita confidence naro, nekuti imiwo kuti hamuna currency, hamuna confidence nayo. Kusvika paiswa mutemo kana kuti statutory instrument inoburiswa nehurumende ichitaura kuti isu maminista, isu mapresident, isu maparliamentarians hatichatambira ma-US, takutambira mazigi. Kusvika paiswa mutemo unotaura kuti mushandi wehurumende angava minista, MP ani anorapwa munyika yake. Zvinhu izvozvo kana zvaakuitika muZimbabwe, chero any currency yaiswa, any policy yaiswa, vanhu vanowane confidence nayo. But kana zviri zvinhu zvinonyangirwa vanhu varombo, munongoziva kunzi hanzi tsuro haipone murutsa kaviri. Vana veZimbabwe mari dzavo dzakatsotswa nguva yanagono, dzikangonyura dziri mabhengi. Yakasvika imwe nguva yakangonzi mari yako yachinja, haichave US ya 1:1, yabva yachinja kusvika rate yakwira. Saka vana veZimbabwe iye zvino vangwara, vachangotambira zvinhu zvese zvese. Saka zvinhu zvemuZimbabwe panofanira kutanga paita legitimate government inobva kuvanhu, ine confidence nevanhu, yekuti vanhu vanova neconfidence nayo. Hurumende inobvuma kuti takutambira mazigi edu atagadzira. Hurumende inoti zvayaita munyika mavo zvinobhenefita ivo, kwete kuti vanesira varombo asi ivo vachinotizira kumwe.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you, Mr. Maras. I think the better last part of your discussion, you were more speaking in Shona, but just in brief, you were saying to the people that the government, for the people to have trust on the new currency that has been introduced in Zimbabwe, the government people itself or the senior government officials must have trust in the money for the in the currency themselves first. Why is it that the cartels are not trusting the money? The cartels, I mean the people who are bringing fuel in Zimbabwe. The rumor is said, or the rumor or the fact of the rumor is saying that people those people who are selling fuel are not accepting that the new currency, in other words, and the government through the governor or through the new governor said that they are not going to force the people who are selling fuel on foreign currency, they are not going to force them to use the ZiG. So in other words, they are saying the ZiG is not a current that can be forced onto people, but yet it's a national current. So that boggles anyone's mind. We don't also need to forget our very important people, the listeners and the viewers on the radio. The comments I'm seeing, Mkoma Tafazwa, Marongeza. You said you are connecting from CBD. We are not sure from which CBD, maybe Harare or CBD in Washington or CBD. Where are you connecting from? Mkoma Simbam Kandatsama, that's a real big shame. I'm sure he's talking about the real big shame of the new current that has been, introduced in Zimbabwe. Zvikanzi nakansela chiwoto zvanzi madi apo madi todi naye akomana. Kansela, you are the people and you are with the people. Tiudze kuti toita sei. What we here is to support and to tell you and to broadcast to the nation, to broadcast to the world what you think as Zimbabweans, as citizens, what must we do? Mukoma Lawrence Dube, and Zimbabwean citizens, let's rise up. Coming SADC meeting, demonstrate family. I concur on that, Mukoma Lawrence. I think we need to demonstrate to SADC that we are not happy in Zimbabwe. Actually, we are not happy with the things that they are doing. We are not happy with the things that they are doing. So please, let's rise. Viewers and listeners, can you please comment in whichever platform that way you are platform? We are live on our Facebook page, we are live on YouTube page, and we are live on different other platforms. Yuda Live, Change Radio News, we are there. Please comment, give us your views, and we will respond and we'll comment. Now we move on. There's a story that has happened in 9 police officers were actually sorry, I need before we go to the issue of the police officers, let me start by the people who were arrested because of booing Auxiliar Mnangagwa. We heard that 9 people were arrested for booing Mnangagwa when she was distributing freebies in Zimbabwe. So this, I can tell you, it's a repeat of what has happened. You remember in 2017, people were arrested for booing Grace Mugabe again. Now, what is most important to think of now is that when Emmerson Mnangagwa came into government, he said that is bringing a new dispensation, a new government, new things are going to happen. But now you find out that the things that will happen in the old government is exactly the things that are happening in the new government, that they call the new government. Is there a different Koma Marasa in terms of the new dispensation and the old dispensation with regards to what is happening and what they are doing?
No. There's no change. The system is still the same. We only change the cover, but the book is still the same. The way that was done by the previous regime is still the same system. Yeah, as you according to this story, it seems the government is not respecting freedom of expression. Angry person is an angry person. It's a sign that people in the rural areas, they are not happy, they are angry, things are not going well. Though the government is saying things are well, people are fine, but it's a sign that those 9 ladies were showing the first lady that you are the mother of the nation. We are not happy. We are angry. As the mother of nation, please hear our voice and tell your husband to address our issues. But instead of listening the voices of the poor rural women, they were arrested by the police, which is their rights were not protected. So we are still having the same system that was used by Robert Mugabe. But the government should understand and address issues that are affecting the masses instead of brutalizing them. Yeah, I think that's all.
Yeah, so thank you so much. For those who are just joining us, we are on Change Radio Zimbabwe. We are on news review program today. I am moving, and I'm with Koma Mishek Karasa. I need to say his surname very well because I've been learning his surname. So those ones who are watching us, please comment, tell us what's your views, what do you think, what are you thinking, what do you think about the Zimbabwe situation right now in all the things that have been happening. Mukoma Simba, thank you so much. In CBD in Harare Omana, kune magetsi here kwamuri ikoko Blazi, right. Zvisinei munoona panenge pakutonakidza zvinhu ndo panodzoka nguva dzedu dzakuda kudzingirana nesu, but regai tipinde mune nyaya inoswisa zvikuru. This is a sad story, Mukoma Chirasa, because the police officer had to rely on social media for him to return to duty because he was allegedly been fired from his service because of some obviously politically connected issues. And then people take it to social media to report, to say this police person was arrested, but the speaker or the police commissioner had to write a letter because this has been gone viral on social media. I'm sure the viewers and listeners cannot see this letter properly. If you can zoom it a bit so that people, those ones who might want to read it. But that was the letter from a police commissioner, now refuting or basically returning the police officer on to duty, but when he was already been fired, rather than suspended. So Mkoma Mishek, yeah, thank you so much. So that's the request for a transfer. Actually, was requested to be transferred, but in other words, he was fired, and now the news is to go, around that the police officer from Murungo was fired, and it went on viral on social media. Mkoma Mishek, do you have a comment on this and on the acts of the police, that they act before they, now it's a request for a transfer, but initially it was he has been fired. Now you want to look as if that Mr. Zetarapi Nisiakovu, he was just being transferred. What's your contribution? What's your comment on that?
Oh, my comment on this issue is it shows that within the government institutions like the ZRP, we still have people who doesn't know their responsibility, especially that senior officer who refused to grant a transfer to his subordinates due to his or a child who was physically disabled. Zvinhu zvinoratidza kuti people havazive pekushandisa, kune vanhu vasingazive pekushandisa basa ravo kana kuti nyembe dzavo kana kuti masimba avo. There are people who think if they are senior kana kuti une chinzvimbo kunonzi kutungamira kuitira munhu utsinye kana kuti kurwadzisa munhu, mungave muprivate sector mungave muhurumende. Kune munhu anofungidzira kuti as long ndichitungamirira kwangu kurwadzisa munhu, ndakarwadzisa vanhu vachichema neni ndichivaitira utsinye, that leadership. Why that is not leadership? Leadership is to understand the concerns or the problems of your subordinates. So munoona kuti vakuru ava vakanyora tsamba iyi, mukuru wemapurisa anoratidza kuti munhu akatodzidzawo akaenda kuchikoro akaita degree, but it shows kuti it's educated dunderhead, because imo mupolisi mune mitemo yemo. Chekutanga ndechekuti kupolisi hakudzingwe munhu kunge kubhawa kunongonzi 24 hours wadzingwa basa, hazvo zvinotaura Police Act. Kupolisi there are processes dzinoitwa dzekutransfer kwevanhu yavanoti Zimbabwe Republic Police Transfer Policy yavanayo mupolisi mavo. If you go with that police per section 215 inotaura kuti kuna anonzi kune matransfers on compulsion grounds, anosanganisira kuti a member of the police force anokwanisa kurequesta for transfer due to ill health of his wife, husband or child. So zvinoratidza kuti vakuru ava vakangoshandisa chinjimba chekuda kurwadzisa mumwe munhu agara achirwadziwa, whilst zvinhu zvisingatarisirwe kuti munhu womutemo, munhu anoshanda noruzhinji, munhu anoprotecta nyika kana kuti ruzhinji anotora madecisions akadaro. Saka kana social media yakaplaya a role, and kana zvakanzwisisika kubva kumusoro from the PGHQ vakaunderstand, it's like vakagona zvavo kuzobatsira munhu ari panguva yakaoma. But zvinoratidza kuti pane basa guru rekuti utungamiri hweZRP hudzidzise some of their leaders how to work with their colleagues vari pasi, because inogona kunge kuri situation iri pamunhu uyu chete. Zvinoratidza kuti kunogona kunge kune mamwe masituations ari akadaro but asingakwanisike kunge achiratidzika ku the authorities kuti ndo zviri kuitika.
Yeah, so it's a really a sad story, and
yes.
You know, even the Child Protection Act in Zimbabwe, I don't think that it's really working, because you know the parent is trying by all means necessary that he practices parentalhood to the child, but rather the work or the place where he's working is not conducive for him to be able to do that. And
yes.
you see that. I like muchly the paper, the bottom part of it, where it's written with the pen, where it's saying that it's either you have to choose between the two options, either to retire or to stay at the police station. That's and
Yeah,
it's read, remember, to retire on 24 hours, 24, which means on a day. You are given a day to retire, or to give a notice, or to stay at the police station where he's thinking of to transfer. So it's told by choose what you want. Both of the options are not working for this person. So I really do not know that even the human resource manager of this government or the police offices, are they really following the laws of the the Employment Act, or the rights of the employee or the rights of the employer, or what are they following? Because this actually does not sit well with us. I think that's why even the people take it to social media to say this is not acceptable, and hence the commissioner, I think he had to intervene. But this story is still on. Let's see and let's hear what will be the end. Change Radio will come and update the people of Zimbabwe and the world to say what has been said about this case. We really march into this case, and we want to hear where the case ended. Mukoma Martin, murisei kwamutare kwamurikoyo kumakomoyo, kurisei. Ruth Mpoto, watching from Durban. Kunjani kona ngale Durban, Ruth Mpoto. Kurisei ndinani panapa hanzi awandiri sisi Joyce mazvarira. Okay, hanzi hello Change Radio family, ndakateerera ndiri kuMpumalanga. Wow, so we are across the world. Mpumalanga, Durban, Mutare, Marco Harare. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for commenting on our Change Radio. We'll be here and we'll be coming back. Napotara kuti nguva dzedu ndodzoka dzodzingirana nesu kozvinezvi tapeta chirongwa chedu. I think the IT department, you can again give us a song from Kanya vachitiudza kuti nyika yaita mamvemve. If you still have the song closer to you. Mukoma Mishek vachitsvakira kambo kedu mazwi enyu ekupedzisira kuvateereri nevatariri, because we are both on radio and live on Facebook and YouTube channels. Mungada kuti chi?
Mashoko angu ekupedzisira kuwana veZimbabwe vakateerera, vari muZimbabwe nevari mana enyika, nyangwe tichiziva kuti vana veZimbabwe vatetereka nenhamo iri muZimbabwe. Tinoda kuti vana veZimbabwe varamba vakabatana, vakashingirira kutsvaga shanduko yeupenyu hwavo, shanduko yenyika, because we want free Zimbabwe. Free Zimbabwe yakaenderwa kuhondo nana sekuru nana baba vedu nevakoma vedu, vakaenda vamwe vakasara ikoko vatisiri kuziva kuti vakavigwa papi. Freedom iyoyo ndiyo yatiri kuda kuti iuye kuvana veZimbabwe. Freedom yasati tawana, tikuda kuti freedom iyoyo, hakuna musha, hakuna family muZimbabwe isina munhu akaenda kuhondo. Hakuna musha, hakuna family muZimbabwe isina kucontribute during the liberation of our struggle. So we should benefit all the people of Zimbabwe from our liberation struggle. Chinangwa chakaenderwa kuhondo ndochada kuti vana veZimbabwe vabenefite. Freedom, not freedom yekuti few people, few individuals ndo vanoona the resources of the country, ndo vanobenefita the resources of country. That is not the freedom that we want. We want freedom for all the Zimbabweans. So tinofana kuramba takashingirira, takabatana kuti nyika yedu ibudirire, isumukire, idzokere payo chaipo panonzi Zimbabwe. Ndo mashoko angu ekupedzisira.
Thank you so much, Mukoma. That was Mukoma Mishek, who was with us today on Change Radio, and we appreciate, like I said, we appreciate all your comments, all your views. Please like and subscribe our Change Radio on our YouTube channel. Follow us on Facebook. We will be giving you we have got different programs that we do. We give you on radio throughout the whole day. The radio operates 24/7. You see us on Change Radio News Review on a Sunday. We give you news every Monday to Friday. We have got news on radio and we post news online. Please follow us as Change Radio. And for now, bye-bye. Leo. Ndio.